Hello students, this is Shweta Roy. This video is for Chapter 8 History Part 1 Emergence of New Ideas and Religions. In this video we will discuss about the Upanishads, meaning of Upanishads and teachings of Upanishads. Also, we will discuss about the circumstances of the society, the condition of the society which was responsible for the emergence of new ideas and religions. So, these are some of the topics which we are going to cover in this video. So here we will start with the topic emergence of new ideas and religions. So till now we have already discussed in our previous chapter that the Hindu society was divided into 4 varnas. Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishya and Shudras. Now in this, the Brahmins and the teachers, they were the most respectable one, and they were also enjoying special amenities and benefits. They did not have to pay the tax to the king. Also, if they are doing any offense, they were not punished for that. So there were some of the benefits for the Brahmins and teachers. They were most respectable one. Also, they were having the power to influence the things. We have already discussed that in our previous chapter. Now, in starting, this Varna system was as per the work, but later on it became rigid. This caste system became rigid and it was considered by birth. Now what happened? After many time, by the later Vedic period, by the end of the later Vedic period, what happened? Because of this rigid caste system, the conflict arises among the people. Now see, Brahmins were also already getting many privileges, right? Now Kshatriyas, they did not like the domination of the Brahmins. Okay, the Brahmins were dominating and the Kshatriyas did not like that, right? Now Vaishyas, that was the business group who used to do business. So as they were doing trade and business, they were the prosperous group, right? So they wanted better position in the society because they were the prosperous group, right? So Kshatriyas were not happy as they did not like the domination by Brahmins. Now the Vaishyas, they were prosperous group and they wanted a special position in the society. Now Sudras, they felt and they realized that they are ill-treated by other 3 varnas. And they also wanted to come out of this. Also, with this, the common people, they found that it is very difficult to follow the Vedic religion. Why? See, all the religious texts that were in Sanskrit language, right? We already discussed about this. So whatever religious text were there, they were in Sanskrit language. Now the common people, they were unable to understand the Sanskrit language. It was very difficult for them. Now the rituals which were there, that were very time taking and they were very expensive. So if poor people are there, they were unable to afford that, how they will give dakshina and fee which the Brahmins were demanding, right? Who used to perform the sacrifices? Brahmins on their behalf. So for that, Brahmins used to take the dakshinas or fees. Now the common people, the poor people who don't have that much of money, how they will pay that much of money to them, dakshina to them? So like this, what happened? The people were the people found very difficult to follow this Vedic religion. Also, one more thing was there. Farmers, they were rearing the animals, right? They were doing they were growing crops and they were rearing animals. Now they did not like the killing of cattle in Vedic sacrifices. They were actually against that. So like this, if you see, everyone was unhappy in this system. So now this time, the new religions, new ideas came into existence. Okay, and here came the religion Jainism and Buddhism. So first you need to understand that there were already circumstances in the society which allowed this emergence of new ideas and religions. Okay. So now from here we will start the topic, the Upanishads. So what is the meaning of Upanishad? It is actually combination of 3 syllables. You would have read about the syllables in your grammar, English grammar. So it is Upa, Ni and Shad. Okay. Upa means near, nazdeek. Ni means down. And Shad means to sit. So Upanishad means sit at the feet of the guru or teacher to receive his teaching. Okay. This is the meaning of Upanishad. Now these Upanishads are actually the part of later Vedic text. And in this you will find the conversation between teacher and students. Okay. In Upanishads you will find the teachings of many religious teachers and sons. Also, they are more spiritual and philosophical in content if you compare it to Vedas. Okay. And there are very simple dialogues used in the Upanishads. Now, most of the historians suggest that there are 108 Upanishads, and out of them 11 are considered to be the main Upanishad. So the 11 main Upanishads are Katha, Taittiriya, Chandogya, Isha, Kena, Prashana, Mandukya, Atareya, Mundaka, Svetaswatra, Brihadaranyaka. So these are the 11 main Upanishads and we have all in 108 Upanishads. Now we will discuss about the teachings. So as per the Upanishadic thinkers, there is something which is permanent in the universe after death also, that remains in the universe, and that thing is Atman or the individual soul, and the Brahman or the universal soul. Okay, so these things remain permanent in the universe according to the Upanishadic thinkers. Now, these Upanishadic thinkers, they wanted to know all about the life which is after the death. Okay, according to them, there is life after the death, and they wanted to know about that. Also, some of the thinkers wanted to know that why should we perform these sacrifices. So, if you see, as per their belief, this Atman and Brahman, that those both are the same. So, if anybody is neglecting the Atman, individual soul, he is actually neglecting the universal soul. That is Brahman. Okay. Now, Upanishad is actually on the theory of karma, maya, and mukti. Okay. So, as per this, as whatever action or whatever karma they are doing, one person, if whatever karma or whatever action he is doing, he has to bear the fruit in the next life. Okay, whatever your action says, that fruit you have to bear in the next life. Okay, now the soul is immortal, it never dies, and that soul is involved in a cycle which is never ending. That cycle is birth and rebirth, birth, death, and rebirth. Okay, so according to them, a person continues with the cycle till the time he is not getting moksha. Moksha is freedom from the cycle of birth, rebirth. Okay, so it is actually freedom from the cycle. So that moksha, till the time he is not getting, he has to go through these cycles. Okay, and how he will get that moksha? For that he has to do some right karmas. Their right karmas will lead them to moksha. Okay, so these were the teachings in the Upanishad. As per the Upanishad, the individual soul can unite with the universal soul or Brahma. If you are doing right karma, if you are doing good things, okay, in your life, you can connect, you can unite with the universal soul. Okay. And like this, once you are united with the universal soul, you can get moksha. This is the belief behind the teachings of Upanishad. Okay. Now there are three ways to achieve moksha as per the Upanishad. Those are the karma marg, or the way of good deeds. Whatever good things you are doing, that. The Gyan marg, or the way of true knowledge. And the Bhakti marg, or the way of divine devotion. Sorry. So these are three marg: karma marg, Gyan marg, Bhakti marg. Karma marg is good work which you are doing. Gyan marg is true knowledge, and Bhakti marg is divine devotion. Okay, so by these three ways, one can achieve moksha. Also in Upanishads, the creation of world, creation of man, ideal human conduct, practice of yoga, meditation, karma, truth about the life and death are discussed. I hope you all understood all the topics taught in this video. Thank you.